I could argue that having a mortgage isn't a terrible idea.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Mark Silverman, I wanted you to tell me if the things that I'm going to talk about here are overrated, underrated, or maybe rated correctly. Tell us what you think about these items.
Sure.
And I might even ask you to venture outside of the world of finance on a couple of these. That's all right. So
sure.
Being a little flexible here.
Let's give it a shot.
How about getting a big tax refund? Is that overrated or underrated or just
That
what?
is actually overrated because all you're doing is you've overpaid your taxes, so you're giving the government a free loan. Although I will say this, I know of some situations that happened this year. I mean, the IRS is messed up right now. I mean, the government's messed up, but that's a whole different story. But the IRS is messed up. I know people who have been waiting over a year for a refund.
Oh my God.
And the government actually started paying interest on these refunds. That's how backed up they are and screwed up they are with everything going on. So the last thing you want to do is if you need this money that you've overpaid and you're waiting on the government, which is not a good thing because they're on their terms.
Yeah.
It might be okay to have a little bit of a refund or owe a little bit, but to get a huge refund is not something you want to do on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let me ask you about something just to lighten up the mood here a little bit because that put me in a bad mood when you were talking about the IRS here. How about Star Wars? Overrated or underrated or what?
I think the original Star Wars was definitely underrated. Those were great movies. The more recent ones, I think, were overrated. I wasn't as much of a fan of the newest ones.
Okay, yeah,
compared to the original.
I actually saw the very first one and really thought it was fantastic. And beyond that, I can't even remember.
The first three were great.
Yeah, I think I saw the
newer
second
ones. Yeah, the newer ones. Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were great. The newer ones,
I think at this point they're just still trying to make money off that franchise.
That's what it's become, unfortunately.
How about paying off your mortgage early? What do you think about that one?
It comes down to peace of mind. We have clients that do have their mortgage paid off prior to retirement. We have clients that have a mortgage in retirement. We can work it out. It's all about, we talked about income planning. It's all about cash flow. So that's really what it comes down to. So, I could make the argument that if you invest in a globally diversified portfolio and we're averaging, 5 or 6%, and you're paying 2 or 3% on a mortgage, you get to write that interest off, at least for now, you're better off on paper. But there are people that want the peace of mind of knowing that their mortgage is paid off.
Sure.
You still have property taxes, upkeep, insurance. So it's not like you have zero bills attached to the home you own. But we could work it either way. It comes down to peace of mind. But on paper, I could argue that having a mortgage isn't a terrible idea.
Yeah. A lot of people out there just have a great deal of satisfaction just knowing that the house is paid for and they don't have to worry about that. So,
correct.
Different strokes for different folks, as they
Correct.
say. How about variable annuities? Overrated or underrated or just what?
I think they're overrated. We don't do a lot with annuities, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
Certainly variable annuities we don't touch, which variable annuity is one of the most expensive products you could own. They're basically mutual funds, which are typically expensive, wrapped with insurance, which is also makes it even more expensive. So, those are anywhere from 2.5% to 4%. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really see too many of those anymore. I know they exist.
Yeah.
They're typically sold by brokers. Because they can legally make more money on them. I've never seen somebody that's bought one that's benefited more than the person that's selling them. It's a commissionable product, which we stay away from.
Yeah.
Certain annuities can be okay. The problem with most annuities right now is they're tied to interest rates, which 10-year Treasury is at near an all-time low. So you're not really going to get much out of an annuity right now. If you have older annuities with that locked-in higher rates, you're probably in pretty good shape. And we have some clients that have those. But the newer ones right now, in my opinion, I would stay away from.
Maybe the reason you're not seeing as many these days is because people have wised up to them and, the high fees and everything else.
Yep.
So,
yep. Or most people don't even know about the fees.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to tell you, hey, this is one of the most expensive products you could own. You're paying 3 or 4% per year. Do you want to do it? I mean, nobody's going to sell it that way.
Yeah. All right, a really serious one, and this is very important for you to give us an answer on this one, because a lot of people are going to be sitting on the edge of their seat to find out. Overrated or underrated macaroni and cheese?
I'd say just rated. It's not one of my favorite things. I mean, once in a while, macaroni and cheese is okay. I would never order it, especially the box kind. But certain mac and cheese is good. They have the lobster mac and cheese and all these different other ones now. Yeah. Those aren't too bad. But I would say just rated.
I just thought I'd throw that one in there to lighten up the mood. We've been talking about variable annuities.
Correct.
So just like when we were talking about the IRS, I just, get in a bad mood when I think about that. All right, yeah. One more serious one I want to ask you about. Tell us if it's overrated or underrated or correctly rated by most folks. How about Roth IRAs?
I think they're underrated. I mean, they're not utilized. I mean, a lot of people that have Roth IRAs, it's great. There are Roth 401ks and 403bs that are out there. I don't think people utilize them as much as they should, because most people want the benefit now. And we see a lot of people put money away into these deferred accounts, whether it be 401ks and 403bs, IRAs, et cetera. And then they have tax consequences down the road when they have to start taking RMDs, required minimum distributions at 72. There are ways that if you do have a Roth, you can start doing partial conversions. Hopefully that sticks around in 2022. That's one of the things they've talked about getting rid of, which would be truly unfortunate if the government actually got rid of that. But with this administration, who knows? So, with that being said, I think Roth IRAs is a great tool. If you do have one, even if you have a small one, don't close it, because they're a very underutilized tool that could benefit a lot down the road.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're talking about getting you to and through retirement. And Mark Silverman, I know you meet new people all the time. You have a large group of clients from all over the place. But if there's someone out there who's been listening to the show for quite some time and just haven't gotten around to making that phone call, they're about to call and set up a time to have a conversation with you. How's that conversation going to go?
Sure. So all you're going to do is call, leave a voicemail or text, and then Christine, who works with me, will get in touch with you. She will get you on my calendar for a 15 to 20 minute, what we call introductory call, where I will answer any questions that you may have. I'm happy to get into our process, which you can find a lot of that online too at savingwithsilverman.com on our website. And, really answer any questions and point you in the right direction. I try to help everybody that I can. Again, that doesn't mean they become a client. So I will give you some advice and try to point you in the right direction. If we are a good fit and we're on the same page, we can talk about next steps and maybe getting together in person and seeing where that goes. But nothing happens until you make that call or send that text, just to get you on my calendar. Now is as good a time of any to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601, or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.